You know, every single day, right inside your own body, a war of epic proportions is being fought. It is a silent, microscopic battle for your survival. And the amazing thing is, you're winning. So let's go meet the secret army that keeps you alive.
And what you're seeing here? This isn't science fiction. It's a real, colorized image of two of your immune cells, the ones in orange, delivering what scientists literally call the kiss of death to a cancerous cell. This is the front line. This is your internal war against disease, happening right now.
These soldiers are incredibly specialized. They're intelligent, and they follow a really precise set of rules for engagement. But who are they, and what's their battle plan? Well, let's find out. Now, to win this war, your body can't just throw endless waves of soldiers at the enemy. No, it's much smarter than that. It relies on a super sophisticated defense force, and we're going to focus on its most elite unit, its Special Operations Team. That unit is called the Adaptive Immune System, and it's not just some brute force army. It learns, it remembers, and it customizes its attack for every single enemy it faces. And it does this with two totally distinct but complementary strategies. Okay, so the crucial difference here is the location of the enemy. Think about it. For threats that are just floating around in your blood or other fluids, out in the open, let's say, the first branch, humoral immunity, launches these targeted antibody missiles. But what happens when the enemies have already breached your own cells, hiding in them like spies? Well, for that, you need a whole different strategy. You need the cell-mediated branch, which sends in assassins to take out those compromised cells.
All right, let's start with that first solution, the long-range weapons system. This is all about the incredible power of antibodies.
So what exactly is an antibody? Well, you can think of it as a biological smart bomb. It's this tiny Y-shaped protein, and it's designed with just one mission: find and bind to a single, very specific target, whether that's a virus, a bacterium, or some kind of toxin.
But here's the thing. Just binding to an enemy isn't always enough. After locking on, antibodies unleash a whole playbook of different tactics to neutralize the threat. This diagram shows their 6 main strategies, and we're about to break them down. And this playbook, it's really a masterclass in how to defeat an invader. So let's look at the main tactics. And some of these moves are just brilliant. It can start simple with neutralization, which is basically like physically blocking a doorway so a pathogen can't get into your cells, or it gets really clever with agglutination, using its Y shape to literally chain enemies together, making cleanup a breeze. But one of the coolest tactics has to be opsonization. This is like painting a giant target on an invader, making it completely irresistible to these scavenger cells that come along and just eat it. Any other tactics are just as strategic, everything from punching holes in bacteria to calling in other killer cells for backup. It's a seriously versatile arsenal. So this antibody arsenal is amazing, right? But, and this is a big but, it has one major limitation. It can't reach enemies that are hiding inside your own cells. If a virus manages to get inside one of your cells, or if one of your cells turns cancerous, antibodies just can't get to them. And for that, you need the second branch of your immune army. This is where that cell-mediated branch takes over. So forget the missiles, now we're sending in the special forces for some up-close and personal combat. The star players here are the cytotoxic T lymphocytes, or CTLs for short, and you can just think of them as your cellular assassins. Their job is to patrol your body, inspect your own cells, and execute any that are showing signs of infection or have turned into traitors like cancer cells. But, unleashing a killer is a pretty dangerous business. So your body uses this amazing 3-key launch system to prevent friendly fire. Signal 1 is the first key. The T-cell has to recognize a very specific enemy's signature on another cell. Signal 2 is the second key, a confirmation signal from that same cell, which acts as a crucial safety check. Finally, with both of those keys turned, a third signal comes in from command, a chemical go order that authorizes the T-cell to multiply and launch its deadly attack. And once it's authorized, the CTL's mission is crystal clear. Find every single cell showing that enemy signature and eliminate it. And the way it does this is a masterpiece of biological engineering. The whole process is just incredibly precise. First, the CTL forms this intimate connection with its target cell. Then it actually reorganizes its internal machinery to aim its weapons directly at the target. After it fires, it detaches, leaving the compromised cell to self-destruct. And then the CTL is free to go hunt its next victim.
So how does it deliver this death sentence? Well, it's got two primary methods. The first one is kind of a one-two punch. It releases a protein called perforin that punches holes in the target cell, which allows a second set of proteins, granzymes, to get inside and trigger the cell's own suicide program. The second method is even more direct. The CTL uses a protein on its surface to literally push a self-destruct button on the target cell. In both cases, the CTL doesn't just kill the cell, it actually convinces the cell to kill itself. Okay, so this is all incredibly cool biology, but why does it really matter to us? Well, because by understanding the rules of engagement for this secret army, we've actually learned to speak its language. And that has led to some of the biggest breakthroughs in all of modern medicine.
Get this. We can now engineer our own antibodies in a lab. These are called therapeutic antibodies, and they are custom-designed weapons we can use to help our own immune systems fight everything from cancer to autoimmune disorders. And here are just a few examples. A drug called rituximab targets a protein on cancerous B cells to treat lymphoma. Herceptin blocks a receptor that fuels the growth of certain breast cancers. And adalimumab, which you might know as Humira, neutralizes a protein that causes all that inflammation in diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. We are basically giving our bodies a new hyper-specific set of weapons. And the impact of this is just enormous. To put it in perspective, just one of these drugs, Humira, had global sales of $16 billion in a single year. This isn't just some scientific curiosity, it is a full-blown revolution in how we treat disease, and it's all based on deciphering the playbook of our own immune system.
So, we've learned how to harness both the long-range missiles and the close-quarters assassins of our own bodies. We're really just beginning to speak the language of our immune system. So the crucial question is no longer if we can direct the secret army. We know we can. The real question is, what diseases will we command it to conquer next?